Your motto is Fiat mihi secundum verbum tuum. Be it done unto me according to thy word.
I have always had that experience that when I am in trouble, the Blessed Mother finds a way for me to come back.
How do you see not only women's participation, but it's women empowerment in the church?
My mother is one of my greatest examples. She has been very much part of who I am in so many ways because of how she spoke to me, how when I'm wrong, she would remind me. When I need some wisdom, she will give counsel to me. And that's a woman. And I think if the church becomes that kind of a church, hopefully now it is happening, I think we will grow more as a church.
You have an ongoing live streaming program, a call Thought for the Day. Tell us more about this program and who is the target of this program, Bishop.
Well, since I became the chairman of the Episcopal Commission on Social Communications, one of the thoughts that I have had was, what can I do as a chairperson? Because it's not only about running or trying to become a person who knows what's happening, but I think I had to act also according to what I believed should be done by the commission. And one of the things I had to do first was to have my own Facebook account, because before I became the chair, I never had any Facebook account. I didn't believe in social media back then. But when I started as the chairperson of the Episcopal Commission, I was asked to have my own Facebook account. So now that I had that Facebook account, I said, for what? Then my diocesan social communication group or team here suggested, Bishop, I think we can do something that could help our people here in the island. It was a small dream. My dream was to reach as many as 12 or I don't know how many, because I never had my social media account. So I didn't know how much or how many people I can reach with my Facebook account. So they suggested, let us make a daily short reflection. And in fact, my first reflection was like not even a minute. It was the day of the Assumption, a few years back. And I just greeted the viewers, if there were any. And I just simply said, today is the feast day of the Assumption. Maybe we all want to go to heaven. We have the example of our Blessed Mother. So I started with that. And the dream was very simple. Help people reflect daily on the gospel. And I never thought that the Thought for the Day would have a viewership that would go beyond our diocese. I mean, I never really knew the reach of social media, but suddenly I discovered how many people have been responding to that Thought for the Day, and I have created even friendships of people who are not even from my diocese, but people who suddenly reacted to one message, and they will message me directly through Messenger, and they would ask questions, and I would respond. All of these interactions were part of the fruits of the Thought for the Day. And we are on our third year, if I'm not mistaken, or fourth year. So basically, that was what the Thought for the Day was. And we continue to try to use that tool that we have, or instrument in social media, to help people reflect on the gospel in a way that I believe is simple, short, but at the same time, hopefully, very helpful for them in their lives.
Can you also perhaps tell us the process of production of this specific program, Bishop?
Oh, okay. The production is very simple. You have a phone. We started with that. A phone. We didn't even have lights. We just went to a place in the office that had better lighting. We sat down, and then they started shooting. We didn't even have microphones. In fact, our first thoughts for the day were thoughts for the day that had some comments that said the sound is not good, the lighting is not good, my tummy was bulging. So we never had any clear idea on what to do, but it was very simple. It was a phone, somebody behind the phone, and myself. Then suddenly, little by little, we realized that we had to do it better. So from a phone, we had to buy microphones. Then from a phone, we suddenly discovered that there are apps that can be used for multiple shots. So we had to apply for a switcher account because the phone that we were using were iPhones. And then suddenly we realized that we needed something more, so we had to buy tripods because at first it was a shaking experience. And then from tripods, we had to buy lights. And then suddenly from having one phone, we had to use other phones. And I remember people volunteering their phones. And then I remember also that suddenly somebody had to ask me if I could greet people during the thought for the day. So we had a paper and a ruler that was taped to the phone, and then under it was taped a paper, a bond paper that had names that I had to look at. So people noticed that when I was greeting them, I was looking down. So from there, they suddenly told us that there is that, I don't know what that thing was, but it was a thing that you had in front of the phone that would have the names and reflected. So you have to look at the phone and you can read the names. No? So little by little, and then there are people who suddenly volunteered cameras and everything. So from there, we evolved. And it was very simple. I had young people from the Social Communications Ministry who were so willing to assist me and to give ideas. And from there, it developed into something a little bit more complicated, but still with a very simple objective. And that is to bring the good news of God. And I hope it just simply shows to people that you don't need much in trying to evangelize others and trying to bring the good news to others.
Besides your busy schedule, but also I found one interesting picture on your Facebook. You post a bicycle. I like biking as well. So can you tell us about this? Is this just out of your exercise, or is there any other missionary message behind biking?
Well, when the pandemic came, one of the things I realized, it was getting harder to exercise. Back then, I loved playing basketball, so that's just an exercise. But now, since it was prohibited to play basketball, my exercise was in my room, some calisthenics, if I may call it that way. But one of the things that my own family noticed is that I was gaining weight. And my siblings, my brothers and sisters, suddenly told me, "Why don't you go biking?" I said, "No, I'm already old. I'm scared that I don't have the legs for taking the bicycle around the island." So the first thing that they did was they gifted me with a bike, which was an e-bike, an electric bike, which was a pedal-assisted bike. So it made my life very easy. So when I had that bike, I went out. I went with priests who also go biking. I went with a lot of young people from the island who love biking. But I felt during the first part of that experience that I was cheating them, because I was the only one with the electric bike. Everybody was in a regular bike. So I said, maybe I should get a regular bike. And it just so happened that I have a nephew who grew so tall that his bike became so small that he offered it to me. He said, "Bishop, I have a mountain bike. Would you like to have it?" And I said, "Why not?" So I had that mountain bike. And one of the things that I keep on discovering is that as I go biking, I get to meet new people. I get to bike with young people, and I get to interact with them. So I started enjoying already biking. And then from biking, the mountain bike, I suddenly felt so slow. So this time I had to buy my own bike, which is a gravel bike, a road, typical in-between of the road bike and the mountain bike, so that I can also use it through rough roads. No? And when I started doing that, I suddenly thought, this is also a venue for people to see that bishops are normal people. and that we also do enjoy. We priests do enjoy things like this. So I started vlogging. It's a two birds with one stone deal. One, I feel healthy when I do my biking because it helps me physically, and it's the best start of my day is always after biking, because when I bike, I have all the energy for the whole day, and I sleep well. I stop biking, I find it hard to sleep. But when I am biking, I always find it very easy to sleep. So that's one, physical. But the second one is, again, it's an interaction with other people. And in fact, I have, some people say I've been helping even our island for it to be known. Why? Because when I go around, I do my vlogging, some people will message somebody, I have seen the vlog of Bishop Maralit, and wow, your island is lovely. So with that, I think I'm helping others also know our island, and then from there, I get to meet other people also. So basically, that's why I am on my bike.
What are your message to the Catholics, especially the youth who are now using social media as a tool to evangelize and spread the word of God?
Well, as I have mentioned, the thought for the day was my first venture towards trying to evangelize people through social media. Look at me, I'm 53 years old. I used the phone. I brought a message. Young people, my dear friends, my dear brothers and sisters, you know much better than I do how to use these tools. Just think of the good you can do with them. Just think on how much good you can achieve. Because I believe in the goodness of our young people. They want to do good. I have seen that here. In my diocese, one of the most active groups that we have are the young people. You challenge them, they respond. So now, with our young people who are now listening, I'm challenging you. I don't know, I find it so hard to learn new things. But you bring into fore new things. You are the present of the church, as Pope Francis reminds us. And I think so much good can be done in this world when you, young people, use what you are being provided during this time. Your generation has the capacity and the gift of social media. So much bad has been done through social media. We cannot deny it. But remember this, so much good is being done and can still be done through it too. So it's up to us now, young people, people of faith. Do not belittle a small phone when a phone can change the lives of others.
Speaking of that social media, Bishop, we also have encountered so many disinformation and fake news. As Catholic and social communicators, how can we also fight disinformation and fake news on social media?
Okay, this is very interesting. I have just spoken of how to use it for good. You have just now asked me a question of a lot of the bad things that has taken place through social media. So if I am to be asked, what can we do about it? One, first and foremost, please make it a commitment in your lives, especially if you have faith, to live and fight for the truth. That's the first thing. Always believe that, as our Lord has said before, He is the way, the truth, and the life. Without the truth, remember this, we will not know God. Because God is truth. So that's the first thing. So we have to commit ourselves to the truth. Now, the second thing I would like to instruct people with is, if we are now committed to the truth, then we must discover the truth. And discovering the truth does not happen when you just simply listen. When you just simply absorb everything others will tell you. I love the response of our Blessed Mother to Angel Gabriel in the Annunciation, when the angel announced to her, the Annunciation announced to her that she will become the mother of the Savior. What did she say? She didn't say, fiat mi secundum verbum tuum immediately. What did she say? How can this be? A question. So to our young people, to everybody who is using social media, before you believe what you read or hear or watch, first and foremost, ask the question. The question of whether is this true? And when you ask that question, you have to put efforts to trying to discover if it is true. Try to validate. Just don't take their word for it. Be critical. Even if I'm talking to you right now, you can be critical about what I'm telling you. But please, do it for the truth. The third, remember this always. Truth without charity is a broken stick. So when we read, when we watch things that are meant to destroy others, be careful already with that. Be careful. That is already a red flag for you. Because we are Christians. And our truth is founded in humility and in charity. So do not forget about that. So I guess with that, hopefully, we discover the truth. And hopefully, a lot of the Christian social media influencers will start speaking about the truth rather than just simply trying to be famous. Use whatever you have been gifted with, your influence, to fight for the truth, to speak about the truth, and be a promoter of the truth.
This is our final question, Bishop. Pandemic COVID-19 has challenged the church's communication to disseminate her mission to the faithful. What are your thoughts on how the church should communicate in the Philippines and in your diocese in the new normal?
In the new normal. Well, one thing I have to first make sure that we all realize is that for us, the pandemic was a gift. Especially us in the social communications ministry. Because before the pandemic, the social communications ministry was a ministry that, well, we had in our dioceses, but we never really knew how important it was until the pandemic came. When the pandemic came, nobody were allowed. We were not allowed to go to church. And yet we wanted to go to Mass. We were not allowed to go to homes to teach them catechesis or go to schools. And yet we had to. So how did we do that? Through the social communications ministry. So with that said, one of the things that we keep on discovering is that in our times, in this generation, it is almost obligatory for churches, for dioceses, to be involved in the social communications ministry for evangelization. That's already obligatory. Now, with that said now, if there is something that is clear in the new normal, the church must not run away from this obligation. The church, we, church people, especially us bishops, especially us, the old ones, we need to learn that these tools are there. We need to use them. Not only that, we need to realize that our young people are there also. They're the ones who know how to use them. So what do we do now? We have to support them. We have to help them be part of our evangelizing ministry. It has to be part of our ministry. We have to be used to it already. Of course, there has to be boundaries. That's why formation is very necessary. No, there has to be boundaries, but at the same time, we need to break the boundaries that we have had created before that prevent us from using these tools that are now, one, obligatory. Second, they have proven to be very useful during the pandemic. And they will prove to be very, very useful for now until the future.
Bishop Juni, it has been a great pleasure talking to you and listening to you. Thank you very much.
It is my honor also to be invited and to be part of this interview. And of course, to all of our viewers, thank you for having the patience to listen to my sharings, and of course, to all of you, my well wishes and my blessings.
I am Father Kashmir Nema SVD, and thanks for watching. See you next time for more interesting conversations with Asian bishops.
Radio Veritas Asia, the voice of Asian Christianity. Radio Veritas Asia mobile app offers services in English and 21 Asian languages. Download the Radio Veritas Asia app to get more videos from Radio Veritas Asia. Comment, like and share.